focus on energy. The Electricity Company of Ghana is cautioning the public against illegal activities which disrupt electricity supply across the country. The state's power distributor says various forms of power theft, including illegal connections, have denied and actually dented the image of ECG, which is seeking to become the most reliable power distributor in the country. Well, earlier today, I caught up with the Accra West Regional Manager of the Electricity Company of Ghana, Ebenezer Ghani, who disclosed that a number of punitive measures will be enhanced in the coming days to deal with persons engaged in power theft.
The Electricity Company of Ghana is at the tail end of the value chain when it comes to electricity distribution in the southern part of Ghana. Now, what this means is that we are the group which collects the revenue which feeds the whole value chain. And we achieve this by installing meters which would measure energy consumed, and then we bill appropriately. So any challenge with that aspect of our business doesn't augur well for the whole value chain. So when we talk about the illegalities which, occur, we can, among others, refer to meter tampering, direct connections, bypassing of meters, deliberately connecting wrong polarities. That's a bit technical, but it occurs especially in factories. Unauthorized service connections, and unauthorized loading of credit. These are some of the illegalities we can identify within our network, which don't inure to our collection of revenue.
But which of them would you say is very common with us?
They all, occur, but meter bypass appears to be the one which is the favorite of our customers. Yeah.
But it's interesting to take a look at the factors. What would you say are the factors that allow or say make it possible for customers to engage in some of these acts, as you're pointing out?
Yeah, we can consider these factors from the customer's viewpoint and also from ECG's viewpoint. Now, when you talk about the customers, what factors? The customer is at home late at night, runs out of credit, and he feels the time is not proper for him to go out looking out for credit to vend. So he does something funny in order to get power supply. So, situations where friends would lure colleagues into undertaking illegalities because they've done it and they've seen it in their own mind to be good for them. There are cases too where we have what we call Goro boys, these local electricians who provide or facilitate this service. That is, they undertake direct connections for people, meter bypasses for people, etc. Now, from the ECG angle, I can talk about the lack of visibility. So if customers don't see us around, it tends to give them a false sense of security, if I can call it that way, where they feel free to do anything to the meter. Okay? And there's also this aspect where if there is a surfeit of if there's a challenge with gaining access to vending points, then the customer doesn't want to go to that trouble and would rather, tend to commit an illegality to have power available to him.
And it's interesting that you're talking about this because
all the partners in this value chain, there's this thing also, this danger of fire outbreaks. So most of the time, those committing these illegalities are not adept at technicalities, and they may take steps which would create the situation where there would be a fire outbreak. And of course, it's blamed on electricity, but the actual cause is the illegality which was undertaken. It could lead to power outages. It could lead to damage of our equipment. And all these adds cost to our maintenance activities. Last but not the least is the loss of image for ECG. because the illegality may lead to other challenges which may not be known to the customers affected, and they would therefore blame ECG for the challenges they are facing.
Obviously, when your light goes off, it's ECG,
yes.
but then these illegal activities could affect you and then cause some disruptions in terms of electricity supply. But then I'm sure that as ECG, you're also concerned about checking the system and making sure that these illegal activities are dealt with. Are you taking some immediate steps to deal with these practices?
Over the years, we've had certain measures in place to deal with such issues. It ranges from stringent measures to more, should I say, cooperative measures, so to speak. So we have in place processes to prosecute and surcharge those who are arrested. We also try to ensure that we provide education for all customers to get them to appreciate the challenges the committing of such illegalities could lead to and could introduce into the network. One other thing we have in place is also this thing we've instituted of providing an incentive for those who would report illegalities.
There's a reward for informants?
Yeah, there's a reward for informants, and that reward is 6% of what accrues from punishing those who are caught. So if you report an illegality and it is affirmed as such and we deal with it, there's a 6% reward awaiting you for helping us to sort of deal with this canker.
And would you say that you've been enjoying support from the public in that regard?
To a large extent, yes. Because, see, one of the factors which I failed to mention earlier on is this one where there's a sort of peer pressure.
Okay.
So friends tell friends that, oh, I've committed this illegality and I'm taking power for free. Once in a while, you have people who are committed to our national development and would come in and report that this is what is happening. Okay. It helps. And over the years, it has been a big factor in our activities. But the most important approach, or the best of our approaches, or the most effective of our approaches, has been monitoring of our customers. So we have programs in place where we monitor customers and monitor their usage of power, and in so doing, we are able to check these activities and also catch those who are undertaking them.
But I'm not sure that when we are diagnosing the problem, it would only be from the side of the consumers. Probably within ECG itself, you may have some of your elements or staff, corroborating some of these acts. So are you taking steps as well to look within your system and to see where the faults are and where the loopholes are so you can block them?
Well, there's an interesting one, and the accounts have an adage which has two variants. One says, if you be a mensa, the other says, if you be a monse. So obviously, we could have staff who, one way or the other, could assist people in indulging in this. It is not impossible. So we continually educate our staff too. And anyone caught undertaking such an activity is dealt with. There are internal mechanisms for dealing with this. But we would rather focus on making it difficult for people to undertake this. So going forward, for example, as a way of taking out the human element, we want to introduce and use technology. So if we are monitoring our meters centrally through a system, then whether it's a staff who goes out to do it or it's an external individual who is attempting to, disrupt our operations,
you detect it quickly.
We would have a means of detecting it. Yeah.
And I'm sure that you've started some of these processes, so you are in a position to assess what the impact has been. Looking at the figures, I mean, from previous years and now, would you say that these measures that, for instance, that you're talking about, including technology, is beginning to yield results? And are you able to share
we've
some of them
started with the process of using technology. So as of now, it's difficult to come up with figures,
right.
But we had a pilot, an interesting situation. Recently, we had a pilot program undertaken within our Achimota district.
Okay.
We installed a few meters, prepaid meters, which had the capacity to be monitored. And over 50% of the meters, just a few days after we installed it, were tampered with. Wow. And without visiting, we could see it from
your system,
from our system. So it is going for it. That is something which would really help us. Now we rely on targeted visits, okay. But as our customer base continues to grow, and as the teams get more sophisticated, that is not going to be very effective. So the way forward is technology.
Yeah, and I'm sure that in the coming days you'll be rolling out some more measures. But what really is the target for this year, for maybe Accra West that you want to share?
When you talk about illegalities and targets, it's an interesting one. I'll give you some figures, but let's look at this.
Okay.
If our education is good, if our threat of punitive measures is heard and felt, then illegalities will be zero.
So it's more
based on prior observations.
Right.
We've set ourselves a target of identifying and retrieving about a little over 11 gigawatt hours this year. Now that translates, hopefully, that could translate into the region of 9 to 10 million Ghana cedis. That's a lot of money. And that's money which would help us really do a lot to improve our services to our customers.
Yeah, and just as we're indicating earlier, this is not just an effort that should be coming from within ECG. I mean, the public must also help you in that regard. So for those who observe some of these illegal activities, how do they reach out to you? Are your doors always open? Or how could they help stop these practices?
Thank you very much. In answering that, I need to point out the fact that, yes, the stakeholders go beyond ECG. And the Ministry of Energy, under the direction of the Honorable Minister, for example, has set up a task force, a national task force, to help us, undertake the exercise of catching those undertaking illegalities. So that task force is in place. On a day-to-day basis, you can walk to any of our offices, our district office, our regional office, and talk to the manager. They are there to assist, and they are there to listen, to help us all curb this, unfortunate activities.
And also, just on that point as well, we know that early this year you put up a task force that was going after some defaulters and all of that. How far with that exercise, and what's the status as we speak?
That exercise is ongoing. They're actually moving around the various operational areas. They will be in Accra West very soon.
Okay.
Now, there are two ways to look at this.
Okay.
I give a date now, then those doing the illegalities will start. But they should, you see, when you get into it, you enjoy it. So whatever be the case, we'll get them. There are two contact numbers to which are in play now, whereby through which customers can contact us. ECG has a call center, and the call center number, I believe by now, is well known. 0302 611 611. You can report your fault. You can also report illegalities there. The National Task Force itself, the number to them is 055 144 4011.
So anyone at all could
can call that number, report the incident, and we'll take care of it.
Well, we need to wrap up on the conversation, but I'm sure that you have an advice for customers of ECG out there.
The advice is simple. If you are into the business of committing illegalities, don't do it. You see, the punitive measures, and at this point, you see, I need to add that ECG has sent a proposal through the Ministry of Energy to the EC, which is consolidating a new draft LI. and we are asking for the punitive measures to be enhanced. People are going to be punished more. People will be prosecuted and their names will be published in the dailies. If you want your family members and your friends to identify and see you as, one who steals power over to you, don't do it. The other side of it is that I indicated it can lead to fire outbreaks. So in doing this, you can be actually a source of danger to yourself and to society. Don't do it.